Okay, so now I'm looking at this game on the 30th. This is the only one I see here with Wisconsin and South Florida. And from the looks of it, it looks like it's a little bit too high for Wisconsin. This line is already being driven up, which is interesting because usually the public likes to bet this late. But for some reason, there's a lot of public money, it seems like, that's coming in on Wisconsin. This doesn't look like sharp action. Let's see, we got 70% already on Wisconsin here. So they're definitely, by waiting, you probably could get this at 2 scores here. Let's see. Let's go back. It opened at 10.5 and it's already at 13. It hasn't crossed the key number of 14 yet. So if it gets to 14, I think there's a lot of value here on South Florida. This line seems way too high, and they're already over adjusting it because there's a lot of money coming in on Wisconsin. There could be because they're ranked 19th, but you know how ranked teams always fall in the early weeks because they're always, overrated and things like that. But I'm looking at these two teams, and this number seems to be a bit high for Wisconsin being on the road. They don't have a quarterback that is really prepared right now. So they got this guy Jack Cohn, and he played 4 games in Wisconsin's last 6 games. He played 4 of their last 6 games in 2018. But then you got this true freshman Graham Mertz that might take the job, from Cohn here. So they really don't have a starting quarterback that they could rely on, and they're kind of underrating this guy from South Florida, which is pretty good in my opinion. He can definitely keep them in this game. If you look at South Florida's quarterback, Blake Barnett, passing yards 2,700, 20 overall scores. So he got hurt last year, but this was a solid quarterback. For the American, South Florida's in the American. He's not a bad quarterback, and he was 7-3 before he got hurt. So I think they're overrating Wisconsin and underrating USF here. If you look at the returning starters, we got USF in this bracket here. They're bringing back pretty much everyone on offense, and their defense suffers a little bit. But look at Wisconsin here. They're bringing back 5 on offense, 6 on defense. So they're not really bringing back too much either on defense. But USF pretty much has their whole offense intact right here with 9 starters returning on offense with their quarterback back. Wisconsin doesn't have a reliable quarterback yet. It's still in limbo. So there's definitely value here with 70% coming on Wisconsin. I would look to take USF here. I lean USF. I think they're overrating Wisconsin. And let's see what else we got. I went over everything pretty much. This line is going up 3 points. Like I said, if it gets to 14, I would even take it at 13. I would even take South Florida at 13, to be honest. But they're pretty similar on offense, and Wisconsin doesn't really have a quarterback yet that they could rely on, and USF does. So if you look here, Wisconsin gave up or scored 29 points per game. Okay, and South Florida scored 28. And like I said, on defense, obviously Wisconsin has a much better defense, but I think that's going to be canceled out by the offenses. I think since these teams are in separate conferences, they're not in the same conference. I think the defense kind of is overrated um, in non-conference play. So let's take a look at Wisconsin here. Wisconsin is 27th on defense, but you can't really rely on them playing great defense because they don't really know this team. None of them do. Neither one of them do. And let's see South Florida. I know South Florida has a pretty bad defense, but like I said, I think that's gonna cancel out. They give up 33 a game. Okay. Wisconsin gives up 22, but I think that's going to cancel each other out because these teams don't really know each other. So I'm relying heavily on the offense for South Florida. I think they could put up some points. And I think this line is way too high for Wisconsin. So look for South Florida to cover this game. So that's going to do it for this video. And that's my prediction for this game, this non-conference game, Big Ten and American Conference. So comment, rate, and subscribe. I'll be back with some more videos.